So I want to speak about photoprotection and specifically in vitro method to evaluating sunscreen. So you know, when we test sunscreen in vitro, we have a classical method. Sunscreen make with organic UV filter, and this method don't have any problem. And we have a good correlation with in vivo results. So this is the method we propose for SPF in vitro, UVA in vitro, critical wavelength, and we propose also water resistance in vitro and photostability in vitro. For this method, we have not specific problem, but yes, and we use a PMMA plate. We spray the product on the PMMA plate, and we use the calculation proposed by Diffie and Robson 20 years ago. We use a spectrophotometer. We don't use lab sphere because lab sphere for me is not so efficient. When we go in high SPF, the lab sphere can't give a good value. It's not with spectrophotometer we can have a very good correlation because it is more efficient. So the method we have to see after is with the same apparatus, same PMMA plate, and same calculation. We have some trouble when we test sunscreen contain mainly zinc. When sunscreen contain mainly zinc, the SPF in vitro measurement with classical method give always lower results, all the time. So we have developed in Helioscience company a new method called Helio2, and we have a good correlation with SPF in vivo results. This is the presentation when we use classical in vitro SPF, and we can compare with in vivo. You see, we don't have any correlation. So it's for the formulator. It's very difficult to develop new product because very often formulator screen the product in vitro before to test in vivo. So we have developed this new method, and you can see we have very good correlation. So it's much easier for formulator to develop new products. Definitively, you can see we have this problem, and we solve the problem. This is a curve we have in the back with the classical method and with Helio2, you see, of this curve. And this is the good value. So we have a big advantage because you have the results in 1 week. You save time, you save money, and it's very comfortable for the company. So Helio2, actually, I think it's the only one method able to give you this correlation. You have also another problem when you develop sunscreen with UV filter hydrosoluble. With this kind of product contains hydrosoluble, you have also always lower results. And we have also developed a new method called Helio Plus, which gives good correlation. Why we have this kind of problem? We see this is classical method. Result obtained with Helio Plus, and in vivo results. So you can, if you take only this value, it's not good information for the formulator. And here also, why we have this kind of problem is because when you spray the product on the PMMA plate, all the water go away, and UV filter crystallize on the PMMA plate. And you have this kind of curve, these two. We have make an improvement of the method, and you see the UV filter hydrosoluble appear here. And this, like this, you have a very good correlation with in vivo results. And you can see classical method in yellow, Helio Plus, and in vivo. And this is efficient for SPF result, but also for UVA. So it's the same. You have the result very fast in 1 week, because when you test in vivo, you have to wait 4, 5, 6 weeks. And it's not the same price. It's very, very cheap. So I think we have also developed the only one method able to give you good correlation. And you have also problem with sun oil or stick. But it's not the same problem. In this case, you have high results, too high results. So we have also developed a new method called Helio oil, and we have, in this case also, a good correlation. You see? The results you obtain if you use classical method in vitro, and you can see the results you have in vivo is a medium. So with our method, you can see the correlation is, in this case, also very good. When you see the histogram, it's much easier to see. This is for the stick and oil. Another problem you can have is when you want to have a UVA evaluation for sunscreen contain only titanium dioxide. In this case, not for the SPF, I insist, it's for UVA. You have always lower results with mineral contains only zinc, only titanium dioxide. It's not the case if you have zinc. So we have also developed a new method. You see, if you use the ISO 24443, and if you use the other ISO method, 22242 dose, which is in vivo method, you see the difference is the value is a double, maybe sometimes three times higher. So we have developed also another method which give very good correlation. And all the time in France, we have trouble with 60 millions de consommateurs, que choisir, because they test the sunscreen, natural sunscreen, bio sunscreen product, and they say, oh, this product is worth because the UVA protection is not sufficient. But they use the in vitro method 24443. And it's not possible. We have make a short publication. So if you want, I can give you the publication. I have it, and we show that with our method we have a very good correlation. So last 2 months ago, the DGCCRF in France come to my lab and ask me why you have this difference. So I explain. You know, we have, in Europe, we have only recommendation for sunscreen. This one is a recommendation of 26. No, not 26, 26 and 2006. And this recommendation say UVA protection must be the tiers of the sun protection factor. So this value must be obtained by use the PPD. Okay, so or an equivalent degree of protection obtained with any in vitro method. But you can use in vitro method only if you have the correlation. If you don't have the correlation, you can't use this method. And so the DGCCRF say, okay, you are right. It's not possible to use this method because we don't have the correlation. And we have the recommendation of the CEE to give the same thing of us. So this method, in vitro UVA, give all the time lower result with mineral contain only titanium dioxide. This method can be used for UVA evaluation. It's not possible to use it because all the time it's not necessary to make the measurement. We know the value are lower. So we have to use in vivo method 24442 for UVA evaluation, and for screening we can use our method. And when you go to the in vivo test, you are happy because you give more or less the same thing. So it's the same. We give the results in 1 week. It's very cheap, very efficient. So we have developed this method, and we now have the publication. So if you want to receive the publication, I send you. So thank you for your attention. If you have questions, I'm here, and you can send email for myself or to Heike, which is here, which is Helioscience distributor for Germany and Austria. So, thank you. If you have questions,
Jean-Claude, do you have any explanation? I think it works without. Jean-Claude has a question to you, to have an explanation why the measurement always differs in between in vivo and in vitro if you work with water-soluble filters or with particles. What is the reason for? You always have shown correlations, but never reasons for.
Oh, for in vivo, for product, so sunscreen product with hydrosoluble UV filter, it's because when you spray the product on the PMMA plate, the water go out and the UV filter crystallize on the plate, and they are not efficient. That's the reason. For the particle, for zinc, I have no explanation, but we know we have a big difference, and we find all the time. I have one explanation. I think it's because you don't have the same which is the name? No, it's a problem of weight, because product contains zinc is very heavy. You know, zinc is very heavy. So when you have to take care of that.
Hello. So we are a producer of zinc oxide, so we see that the H2 method is indeed better correlated with in vivo. But my question was, when we do in vivo testing, also there is a big difference from one time to another, and it's sometimes very hard to predict the performance of a sunscreen, even with H2, where you can have a good first idea, but after that, still it's sometimes very, very complicated. Do you know? Can you give any reasons why there is difference from one in vivo test to another one?
Yeah, I think I have the explanation. It's because when you make in vivo test, you have to take care of the season. Because if you do the test in summer or in winter, you have 50% difference. If you test a product in December, and you can find SPF 30, and if you test the same product in the same lab during July or August, you have maybe 10 or 15. So it's very important to take care of the season. That's why also in vitro method is very efficient, because you can test all the time, all the year, and you have no variation. When you test in vivo, the SPF increase in winter and decrease. So if you adjust your formulation, you can't make the test at the same season, because if you want to do that, you have to wait 1 year or 6 months, because so in summer, during the printemps and autumn, it's near the same thing. But it's very difficult. So in vitro, you have very good correlation, because no variation, because the PMMA plate is always the same, the spectrophotometer is always the same. The only change you can have is the formulation, because the formulation can move during the time, specifically with mineral. That's why also sometimes we have problem, because when we do the test in the lab at T0, we have one value. If the sunscreen have a small agglomeration, because there was a problem with the particle zinc and titanium dioxide, is the agglomeration of the particle. This takes time. If you test in vivo the product 2 months later or 3 months later, if you have this agglomeration, the SPF decreases also. So if you have the two phenomena, agglomeration, season, your product is nothing. So it's necessary to take care of that. So to take care of that, you have to have a big evaluation, physico-chemical of your sunscreen. And also you have to test the zeta potential. Because if you have a potential zeta around 0, you have a strong agglomeration of the particle. So it's sure. You have no, you are sure of that. So it's necessary to have a zeta potential very different of 0. So for summary, you have to take care of the season, take care of the agglomeration of the particles, and take care of the zeta potential. So it's very difficult. But we can do this measurement in the lab for you. If you have any other question during the 2 days, we have a booth on the saloon, and we are very happy to discuss with you. And Heike can give you more information for commercial way. Thank you.